just for a day, 2 days, whatever model of a few days in the office, I was not here for it. It's different when you log into a Teams call with someone from another department. You're not going to go into detail about your kids and what you do on the weekend. So I found that when I work from home, I somehow just find myself working these crazy hour days. When I leave the office, there is little to no chance of me opening my laptop when I get home. I think I can literally count the number of times that has happened. Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Ven and I'm an actuarial analyst working in the general insurance reserving space. In this video, I'm going to be giving you some insight into my experience with remote work, in-office work, as well as a hybrid work setup. To give you some context on my experience in the different working models, I spent about 5 years working fully in office at the start of my career, and then I relocated to South Africa and spent just under a year working fully remotely. And then from there, we transitioned into a hybrid working model, and I've been doing that for just over a year. So I think it's actually safe to say I have a fair bit of experience in all three. When I first started working a fully in-office job, I had nothing against it. I was definitely fine with the 9 to 5 every day, but then remote work came into play. And for the longest time, I literally believed that I would never ever want to go back to the office, even just for a day, 2 days, whatever model of a few days in the office. I was not here for it. It turns out that a hybrid model has sort of been giving me the best of both worlds. And I'll go into detail about each of the aspects of the work and like my overall well-being that I feel vary according to the different models of work. So I think one of the main factors is getting to know your teammates and all your work colleagues. In a fully remote environment, I found that that's where it's the hardest to get to know people. Especially in my case, I found that the only people I actually knew were my immediate supervisor that I spoke with every single day about the work that I was doing, a colleague who's at the same level as me, because we would discuss every now and then, check in on the work that we were both doing. We moved to a hybrid work environment. I found that I got to know people in the finance team, in the claims team, in all the other teams, and we would have conversations that are much longer because, it's different when you log into a Teams call with someone from another department. You're not going to go into detail about your kids and what you do on the weekend. And it's also different from a lunchtime chat when you're in the office, bonding over food, or when you go to the coffee machine. So yeah, I would say for getting to know your teammates and your colleagues, the best is actually a hybrid work environment or a fully in-office environment. This point is quite closely linked to team building. I found that the team building events that I enjoyed the most were the ones that were in person. We did get pretty creative during lockdown and we did a few remote team building exercises, but they definitely do not compare to what we did in person. And we also have more events in person compared to the remote ones, which is great because I like team building. Another huge thing is the way it is very difficult to switch off in a fully remote environment. So I found that when I work from home, I somehow just find myself working these crazy hour days, and it's literally not by intention, but because there's so much work going around and there's a huge project that we're working on, you just sometimes just stand up to go have your dinner and you're back at your computer, or you start work extremely early and just work to the normal time or 1 hour later. On the 2 days that I actually go into the office in our current hybrid setup, I might start work a bit early before I have to leave home and go to the office. But when I leave the office, there is little to no chance of me opening my laptop when I get home. I think I can literally count the number of times that has happened. And that's because there is like a looming deadline and the world will literally end and my job will literally end if I don't do what I have to do. I exaggerate, but what I really mean is if there's a looming deadline and I have to get things done, I have to get things done. One of the things that I've noticed in an actuarial analyst job is that there are times when you really need to focus on the task at hand and you're doing extremely hectic things. And then there are times when you're doing really manual things that you can just do in any environment and you don't really need to focus. So with that, I've then found that a fully remote setup is great for the days that I need to focus. Completely in office is actually the worst when it comes to that. And hybrid is sort of, if we really need to get things done, I do not want those 2 days in the office. I suppose this point actually depends on the kind of office setup that you have. Ours is open plan, so as people go in and out, you interact with them. At the same time, on the days when the work is a little bit lighter, it is fun to just have a quick chat with people as they go in and out. Sort of circling back to the switching off point, the in-office days actually give me a chance to switch off and to have some time to myself actually. So I get roughly an hour in the morning and roughly an hour in the afternoon, and that's because I use the train, which is very efficient. The bus stop is like literally outside our complex, and it takes me to the train station, and then I take the train from that station to Santon, and our office is only 200 meters from the train station there. I generally use that time to do something like reading a book, studying, responding to WhatsApp messages, or planning a YouTube video, playing Candy Crush. Like, there are just so many things that I could do on the bus. Another advantage that I've seen with remote work or a hybrid setup is that my transport costs are significantly reduced, and who doesn't like to save? So yeah, that's like one really great point about that. And I think something related to that is commuting to the office every single day can get a little tiring. So I feel less fatigued in only having to go there 2 times a week. And the great thing in my case especially is that our days are Tuesday and Thursday. So there's a nice little balance, one day in office, out, in, out, and then there's the weekend. One last point, which I think is mainly a me thing, is on the days that I'm home, it's just easier to get ready, easier and quicker to get ready. Unlike the days that I have to go into the office, I have to take extra care with like my wardrobe, my overall appearance. So yeah, that's a bit hectic when it comes to the fully in office setup. So yeah, I prefer the hybrid or fully remote on that front. I'm sure by now you can tell that I've got a strong bias towards a hybrid setup, and I really hope to not have to go back to a 5-day in office type of setup. But if it does happen, it wouldn't be the end of the world. But yeah, hybrid is really it for me. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. Please leave a comment below and let me know what kind of work setup works best for you and what your main reason for preferring this work setup is. I hope to see you in the next one.